Hello, YouTube. It is me, Dr. Freako. So, as part of Random Ross's Halloween week, he gave me and Captain Skullhead a horror movie, obviously, to review of our own choice. And the movie I'm choosing to review is, of course, the classic slasher, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, so, the movie was inspired by the true events of Ed Gein, who was a real-life man who dug up graves and made furniture out of the bodies. And out of his, his grizzly, things he did, he only killed 2 people. He also inspired Buffalo Bill and Norman Bates. Anyway, we're on to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, and it got banned due to its, violence. I was mainly surprised by its lack of gore. Anyway, the movie was directed by Toby Hooper and was also, banned. Anyway, the film focuses on gives us first a news bulletin of some grisly murders that took place in the summer of 1973. Then we go to our protagonists, teenagers, on the road, going to some concert or something or whatever. I don't know, I'm just excited for the guts and the gore. Anyway, they pick up some weird hitchhiker who is some redneck and, cuts himself and then cuts the guy in the wheelchair who is in a wheelchair. Anyway, after that, they let him out and make him make his own way home. They pull up to a gas station where some guy, an old man, is cooking some beef or whatever, some kind of meat. Anyhow, we then go on and they get lost. So, 2 of them go out and find a house in the country. And that house, the boy goes in and hears some noise of some pig sweeing. Sweet. Anyway, the boy is jumped and attacked by a man with a weird-looking mask. He's then dragged into the room and the door closes. That's it. No more information. The girl then gets wondering where he is, so follows him inside. She then is seen by Leatherface, making the gruesome discovery of human furniture made out of human bones and skin. She tries to make a getaway, but Leatherface grabs her and takes her in, and puts her on a meat hook. He then butchers her boyfriend right in front of her with a chainsaw. Whilst our other protagonists, they go out, and they go looking for him, and shit gets real when they get butchered by Leatherface. Anyway, they then discover that they're on the menu, as they are a very vicious, cannibalistic cannibal family, the Sawyers, not the Hewitts from the remake. I have no idea why they did that with the remakes. Anyway, they go and, they soon discover that the guy at the gas station is the father in the family, and that the weird, kid from the beginning who cut himself was also part of the family. They do strange and messed up things with their chainsaw. They even have a really, old, fragile grandpa who looks like 210 years old. For a human, that is. I mean, me, I'm like, I think I'm about 3092 next. Well, anyway, we go on and find that, long story short, people get killed and they die. There's one surviving girl left who, is forced to watch the family dying, which is very, very disturbing. Not to me. I found the Texas Chainsaw Massacre quite funny. Anyway, she makes many attempts to escape, and then in the end she does. Basically, the film is very fast-paced, so then she is left running away from the family that want to rape her, then eat her. She makes a getaway, and with Leatherface not far behind. Leatherface changes many faces in the film, from his Leatherface to his, well, I don't know what the fuck's with him. He must be gender confused. Well, he definitely was in the 4th installment, which was awful. Anyway, we're on to the first one, and then, well, here Leatherface and this weird redneck brother, go after him, her, the girl, and then a truck comes and flattens one of them, well, the crazy redneck boy, as Leatherface continues to chase them. The truck driver, I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but he just ran off. He was helping the girl into his truck, but then ran. What a knob. Dickhead. That's what I'm referring to. Anyway, she then jumps onto a truck, and the truck drives her away, as Leatherface is chasing her and wielding his chainsaw. The film then ends where she is screaming and laughing, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. But Leatherface is then left waving around his chainsaw in frustration, as the film then ends. It is quite, like I said, very, very fast-paced, and quite creative in stuff it does. But of course it is inspired by true events, and of course we all know that the horror movies that are scary are those that are real and most likely to happen. So, what can I tell you about this as well? Well, it was a good horror movie, probably one of the earliest slasher movies in the horror movie genre. It's very, very unique for its time, but now it's considered very tame. These days you have to sew people's mouths to their asses for it to be banned, like in the films The Human Centipede. But I'm not talking about that film right now. I'm talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It had Gunnar Henson, who played Leatherface in the first movie. He never reprised his role in any of the other films or the sequels. It was about 12 years, with it being banned, it was 12 years before they actually made a sequel, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, but put a lot of comedy humor and elements into it to make it a bit more bearable, I guess. The second one is considered the best one in the series, and it's not every day, a sequel overdoes its predecessor. Then there was the third one about 3 years later, 1989, 1974, 86, and 1989, Leatherface the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, where it's played by two people, the stunt double, Kane Hodder, who we know as Jason from, well, Friday the 13th Part 7 to Jason X. Anyhow, we then had the 4th installment in 1997. What the fuck was that? I mean, it had young Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger in it, but what the fuck was with that one? I have no idea. That was probably one of the worst 4th installments, but then they came along and they did a remake in 2003, which I thought was good. It was still set in 1973, but it wasn't, made in that year. It was made in 2003. Yes, it had Jessica Biel in that as a protagonist. It also had a completely different family called the Hewitts. And what the fuck? Why change the name and the entire family? I don't get it. That's the thing what I don't like about the remake, that they changed the characters, the main villain's character too much, giving it more of a family of women and men, and a crazy sheriff. But of course, the remake did not spawn a sequel, but it did spawn a prequel, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, tying all the loose ends for the 2003 reboot. They then, in 2013, made Texas Chainsaw in 3D, and that was shit. I mean, it was, giving a huge nod to the original movie. I liked that, and how it took place directly after the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But what I don't understand is, did this mean it ignored the events of 2, 3, and 4? Did they no longer exist? Was this an alternate timeline, a semi-sequel, like apparently what they did with Halloween H2O? I don't fucking know. But anyway, Texas Chainsaw 3D, the plot line did not make sense to me. If it was meant to be set 20 years after the events of the original, why the fuck have an iPhone in the 90s? And also, the girl who was also our main protagonist, I don't know what was going on there, but, shouldn't she be like 40 if it was set in the present? And why the fuck did they have a fucking iPhone in the 90s when iPhones, well, are a modern day device? I do not know. But, of course, that's sometimes movies. They bend the laws of physics and think fuck reality. Also, it wasn't Ted Sawyer who was Leatherface in that. The Leatherface was a third-generation Leatherface called Jebediah Sawyer. Sometimes I hate it when they ignore plots and leave plot holes and shit unresolved and stuff. It was just... I didn't enjoy that one. The plot to the 3D one did not make sense to me. It is available on Netflix along with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but none of the other movies. But of course, Leatherface is badass, crazy, awesome. And I like the movies. They're very different to any slasher movie. I mean, at the time, yes, cannibalizing and stuff. But now it seems that all horror movies are like that now. You know? Apparently, for a film to be banned or controversial, like I said, the Human Centipede films. But of course, back in the olden days, monsters wanted to give you a spook. Then eventually the slasher genres came along and made you want to puke. But they were good at the time they were made, but now they've overdone the whole thing and it is just very unbearable. Anyway, I wish they would make more original horrors these days. They tend to be a lot of remakes or just things that have already been done. These days they're into jump scares and ghosts and the bogeyman. But no, they should try doing more original slashers and try and revive the fucking genre for this generation. Sorry, I'm saying a bit too much now. Anyway, I don't think I've got much more to say on this film or this franchise, apart from, if you like this video, please give it a like and please share it. Random Ross loves these horror movies, of course, and I said, could I review the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And he said yes, as long as I give some good mentions to the sequels and stuff. Which I was fine with. And of course, this is probably the last video I'm going to do on this channel, because I have to go back to my dimension. So does Captain Skullhead. I come from the dimension of insanity. Captain Skullhead, I think, comes from, like, the third or second dimension. I don't fucking know. But anyway, I'm going back to my dimension. And apparently, in this dimension, my face is seen as a clown. In my dimension, we're demons and, well... yes. I don't know why you would say I'm a clown. To me, you look like clowns. But to myself, I am a demon that feeds on the souls of the young. Anyway, yes. So, I would like to wish each and every one of you a very happy fucking Halloween. Yes, Halloween, where we will do spooky stuff. But of course, I will have to go back to my dimension by the strike of midnight when it turns the 1st of November, or else I will die. I can only be around in this dimension when horror is at its best and best worshipped and respected, which is, of course, October time. But I do hope to see you all again next year, as I am just apparently a seasonal character on this channel. Well, yes. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and also, what's your favourite horror movie? Leave a comment down below. Also, Random Ross, he'll probably want me to say subscribe if you want to see more, and he'll see you after this. So, yes. Well, the end of my vlog review. So, I have been your host, Dr. Freako, and me and Captain Skullhead have been honoured and pleasured to be in this realm for the entire month of 30 days in October. Well, I hope it doesn't have us. I hope Random Ross doesn't have us doing like Psycho or Monster Files again. You know, it's like everyone should know the knowledge of monsters now. Like vampires and werewolves and demons. Anyway, see ya. Now, I'm gonna go off and find some young souls to devour. My laugh is apparently terrible to most people. Goodbye.